I don't know, what is it, like 2 years? This has to do with a building on Jamaica Avenue. So, the Woodhaven-Richmond Hill volunteer ambulance corps. Now, this has been a big topic for this community for over 2 years. We've been trying to do everything we can to help the corps. You know, within the past few weeks, something has come up that the building is actually for sale or has been sold. You know, so, excuse me, folks.
This is important.
This is what we've been talking about for 2 years. So, you know, we've reached out to the volunteer ambulance corps like we usually do and offered an invitation for them to come and speak to residents today because we're concerned about what's going to happen with that property and what's going to actually happen with the volunteer ambulance corps. Unfortunately, today it happened to be that they were going to have their own meeting today, so no one from the volunteer ambulance corps was able to make it. The best we can get was, well, maybe if we send them a list of questions, they can get back to us before the meeting today. I did send a list of questions, quite a few, which were about the status of the ambulance corps itself, the status of that building, what happens after the sale with any monies, what happens to the coverage of Woodhaven, are we still going to be covered? You know, if there's this potential merger that may be going on with another ambulance corps, how does that affect Woodhaven? How does that affect how we're going to get covered? Unfortunately, I didn't get any answers. There was a reply this morning saying that no one received the questions. I replied with the email that I sent 2 days ago, forward questions from 2 days ago. So, you know, as much as I, think, they're going through a lot, but it's the same thing over and over again. It's the fact that this organization, that ambulance corps, their communication, they have none. Plain and simple. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to, this is something that's affecting our community.
That's right.
And if a merger is going to happen, if that building is going to be sold, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. You know, and we want to make sure that we get those answers because we're going to lose an institution that was part of this community for over 50 years.
Almost, yeah, almost.
Almost 50 years. You know, we're now, if the building is sold, we definitely lost a senior center, a community center, a volunteer ambulance corps. You know, so many people we speak to who aren't even in the neighborhood anymore had baptisms in there, sweet 16s, birthday parties, a lot of memories in that building.
Yeah, my daughter's wedding was there.
A wedding, weddings, so, and there were other options. You know, so to now hear that this is going to be sold, that the building is sold, you know, that's going to bring up other questions. Because the thing is, obviously it's being sold to a developer,
Yeah.
which is what we were saying 2 years ago.
You can send that list on, too.
And obviously, you know, the judge that handled this case was just the worst thing that could have happened to this community. You know, so it was just a ticking time bomb. We had help from elected officials, Mike Miller, Eric Ulrich, Elizabeth Crowley, Senator Dabo. Everyone was there lining up, suggestions, this is what we can do, this is how. Department of Buildings, that building was a day away from being demolished. And because of a little, loophole thing with the MTA, it didn't happen. That caused another delay. So, it's a sad thing to say that we're at this point 2 years later. We put in as a community a lot of effort. A lot of us volunteered a lot of time. Some of us even gave a lot of money to help this ambulance corps. So we want to make sure that we're not just left behind and saying, hey, we're going to take these monies, take them into another community, and Woodhaven, you're on your own. Because when you have an organization within a community, that's not what it's about. Presidents come and go, board members come and go. But when an organization is created in a community, it's supposed to stay in that community. Service that community.
That's right.
If you make monies from that organization, it should still stay in that community. So there's going to be a lot of questions. If you have any questions that you would like us to ask, I'll be more than happy to pass it along to them. I hope soon we'll get some kind of some answers back from them. But if we don't, then we'll see what the next steps are to get some official answers, I guess, from either the Department of Health, Department of State, to see what's really going on here with this potential merger and that building being sold.
Are they operational?
That's one of the questions. One of the questions definitely was, what's the status of the ambulance corps? You know, even their 501c3 status, I do understand they lost that a few years back. They were trying to get it back, and last meeting we had with Senator Dowell and Assembly Member Miller at his office, we spoke to them about that. And they said, oh, well, we just need to fill out some paperwork. You have a state senator and a state assemblyman there. What paperwork? They can help you. Nothing. You know, so there's a lot of things, a lot of questions that we need to find out, so.
Not to take anything from, oh, sorry, not to take anything from the Woodhaven volunteer ambulance, I know you mentioned the merger. You also have Forest Hills, which is kind of right here, and I have personal ties to that. My brother's been involved with that for probably 20, 25 years. You know, so when you said merger, that's...
Well, and you know, I don't know what I do know that it's a fact that they were looking at merging with Lindenwood. And they've said it in public, so I'll share that information. That's not anything that's supposed to be, you know, kept to the heart. So, you know, let's see what happens. You know, there's a list of questions out there for them. Hopefully we can get answers. Okay?
Well, me being a volley, I actually volunteered for that ambulance corps, and being with you guys and rallying for them. You had the pasta dinner and everything else. Well, one of my questions is, the way that board is structured, and the way they didn't have meetings, and the way, who even knows if there was a structured board, did they even have the right to sell it? Because I heard the rumors from the neighborhood that it was sold.
That is a
So,
question.
I mean, I think that would have been something that maybe the community could have controlled.
That is a question that's out there. The question of getting a copy of the bylaws, getting, you know, making sure that they actually have an active board that was actually voted in. You know, one of the questions is, were they even still legal because they had, how long before they've done a run? It's been obviously over 2 years. You know, so there's a lot of questions out there, and we're going to stay on top of it. We're going to ask, and if we can't get answers from them, then that just to me sets off a bigger issue.
That's right.
You know, we're not trying to hurt anyone. We just want to make sure that we get full closure on this issue that we've had in our community for the past 2 years. You know, and now, looking forward, the next issue I see for us is going to be what's going to go up in that property. You know, it's...
99 cents?
This is beyond that. I'm going to tell you right now, this is beyond 99 cents. This is someone knocking down an entire block.
Right.
I can guarantee you this. They're going to knock down an entire block, and something is going to go up there, because that was part of the whole plan from the beginning. That slumlord on the corner, whose roof collapsed, he was part of the deal to bleed out the ambulance corps. And I guarantee it was, don't worry about it. We'll cover your cost. We'll pay for you for your building after we buy out their building. Because I believe they own another property on that block already anyway. So now they own the whole block. Now you can do whatever you want. And now that, you know, Jamaica Avenue's upzone, now they can go up 7 stories. So what do you think we're going to get there?
Super 99 cents though.
You know, so this is something that we need to look at. Not just the sale, future, what's going to go there. You know? And we really need, we're going to keep in touch with DOB, keep in touch with the council, with CB9, to make sure that it's not something, again, that because of some kind of loophole, we're getting stuck with something that's going to harm our community.